All right, so the Padres, they lose to the Cubs here in Game 2 of this series. So much for, yesterday, maybe that was the turning point of the season. They were 5-7, then 6-7, and now they're back to 2 games under 500. We'll see what happens in the rubber match game tomorrow. But yeah, this one was disappointing. With Joe on the mound, his 3-year anniversary of the no-hitter. Joe, last time out, pitched well, and it was off to a pretty good start. And then that 5th inning, wasn't able to get an out. I'm sure he was pissed off just how that whole inning happened, where he gives up the home run to Yan Gomes, who is like Barry Bonds when he faces the San Diego Padres. It's so annoying. I was listening to part of the game on the radio, and Jesse was talking, he was reading off some of the stats about Yan Gomes against the Padres, and it's just in a totally different stratosphere than just against other teams, just regular numbers, his numbers in his big league career. Good player, but he's not known as like this offensive slugging catcher, but he hits like 500, it seems like, against the Padres. I saw someone on social media replied in a tweet to me that his OPS against the Padres was like over 900. Might have been actually over 1,000, or maybe that was just against Musgrove. But yeah, Yan Gomes just owns the Padres. Add him to the list. That includes Michael Conforto right now. Feels like Charlie Blackmon he definitely was on that list when he was like in his prime. There's a lot of guys that you could point to. So that made it 1-0. And then, yeah, that 5th inning, just, it got away from Musgrove. Control-wise, pitches, he had a walk that he allowed, not like in the same spot. Those pitches were not in the same spot, so it's not like he was missing arm side or glove side. It was just a little bit wild and all over the place. Hit by pitch, and then Stephen Kolek comes in, and that ball's right down the frickin' middle of the plate to Christopher Morel, and he smacks it just like a major league hitter should. A talented big league hitter, when a ball's right down the middle of the plate, smacks it. And then offensively, the Padres today, it was like yesterday for the first, 5 innings of yesterday's game. Not the best at-bats. Jake Cronenworth, I love the start that he's off to, but I believe he went 0 for tonight. Nando went 0 for tonight. You know, Cronenworth, I don't like to, point out one specific pitch that someone swung at because baseball's hard. But, I mean, he swung and missed, I believe, in one of his at-bats. It was not his first at-bat. Second or third at-bat of the game. Strike 3 on a pitch that was like 3 feet inside. You know, just was not seeing it well tonight, I guess. You got to give credit to that Cubs starting pitcher, Ben Brown, I think was his name. I'd never heard of the guy. He struggled, I believe, in that outing that he had previously, but Craig Counsell wasn't worried. I was hearing, I think Jesse and Tony talk about that on the radio earlier in the game, and he ended up bouncing back. So you give credit to it, but when you haven't heard of the guy, and it's not like this is Paul Skeens the Padres are facing, where you've heard of the pitcher coming up in the big leagues, or excuse me, coming up in the minor leagues. That wasn't the case here. It just makes it frustrating. And Ha-Sung Kim, off to a really bad start this season. April has not treated him well, below 200. So we got to get him going somehow. Graham Pauley, before the game, he was sent down. That's another thing I wanted to get to here. Sent down. Brett Sullivan comes up. Sullivan had a 5-hit day the other day. And this is the right move. I mean, Sullivan, he can play first base. He can be a backup catcher. I think he can play some outfield if you absolutely need him to. It's a left-handed option. Campy and Higgy obviously are right-handed options, so there's that. And with Paulie, I think there's more of an upside with him. I think we can all agree on that. There's a higher upside with Paulie than with Sullivan. So with Sullivan, they can have him in the big leagues and just have him there. And if he's not playing every day, it's not the end of the world. Where with Graham Pauley and his development, giving him 15 at-bats when we're however many games we are, 13 or whatever, games into the year, he's just not playing consistently. So it's hard to have a whole lot of success when you're facing big league pitching for the first time in your career, and it's not like you're getting at-bats every day. It's one thing with Jackson Merrill where he's the better player than Graham Pauley, at least at this moment. Love his approach, all that. but he's getting the consistent playing time. He's getting the consistent at-bats. And he got it from the get-go, where Graham Pauley never got that option. He just wasn't given that opportunity by the Padres. So I like the move sending Graham Pauley down. I wanted him to start more than Tyler Wade, start more than Eggy hit a home run today, so good job out of him. He hits well, I believe, against lefties so far in his big league career. Not great at all against righties. So there's that. Eggy is another guy where it's like, I guess we kind of know who he's going to be. I don't think he needs to be having consistent at-bats down at the minor league level. It's okay for him to be on the bench. With Graham Pauley, I think they really want to see how can this guy develop and really give this guy everyday at-bats. Eggy Rosario had that when he was in the minor leagues with El Paso. Like, he got those everyday at-bats. Graham Pauley, he hasn't been with AAA yet. He was in AA. So I want to see him get those at-bats. I'm going to be interested in seeing how he does there in AAA. I know some of those stats are a little bit misleading because Brett Sullivan looks like Barry Bonds sometimes in El Paso, and we know that's not who he is at the big league level. Can be a solid backup catcher. Seems like a good clubhouse guy, but we know the ceiling of Brett Sullivan, right? We don't want him starting every day. With Graham Pauley, I think it's TBD on whether it's him being on another team in a trade or it's the Padres. Like, what is his ceiling? How good can he be at the big league level? So, Paulie, I think he was telling some reporters earlier today, like, he agrees with the move as well. Like, just go get at-bats down there. It seemed like this move was going to come, and it needed to come pretty soon here. I just wonder, and some fans are already wondering this as well, like, is a trade coming? Because you send Paulie down, Sullivan's not really a DH option, so Manny, at some point here in April, we hope he's going to be able to be at third. He's throwing to first base now. So end of April, is he going to be at third? Then who's going to be DHing? Are they sending Paulie down for a couple weeks to get at-bats for a couple weeks and then come back up and be a DH? Are they having Campy go DH and have Higgy catch almost every day, or have Higgy and Sullivan, based on whoever's starting on the mound, have them rotate? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But Paulie, I'm not, pissed off at this move. If I'm pissed off about anything about the whole Paulie thing, was I wanted to see him get the everyday at-bats at the big league level, but hopefully that comes at some point.